Hey everyone, welcome to devlog number 13 for Vampires vs Aliens. In this devlog, we're looking at a new active skill, which is pretty exciting, the finished ball lightning tree, and a new support skill for reducing projectile speed. So, you've noticed that these updates coming out bi-weekly. That's sort of intentional. Again, some busy things in life have meant just a little less time dedicated, but we're making progress every single day, and as always, I'm pretty happy with where we're going. And we'll wrap up today with a bit of what the plan is for the future and looking forward to the next release. So first, let's look at the ball lightning. We showed this last time. Here's the tree for it. I believe it wasn't displayed, but importantly, it does look like a ball lightning. But we've also added this new support skill, which is slower projectiles. So this support skill, it'll be available alongside all the other support skill. It's not going to have much of a mana cost penalty, and its inherent effect is just slowing projectiles, but of course you can see there's a ton of ways to continue to decrease that throughout the tree. Now I've also added quite a bit of damage to this tree, because for a lot of skills, it's kind of a downside if your projectiles are slower. You can't always shoot them out towards the targets that you're trying to aim for, and as we add in ranged enemies, that's going to be of particular import, where just walking away from them and having them come to you and walk into your projectiles isn't really going to be an option. So pretty soon that's something we're going to be looking at, is having some ranged enemies, hopefully into the next release. But anyway, let me just show you how this tree works. If I take some of these slow projectiles, might also take some of these attack size ones, and now you'll see ball lightning moves much slower. If you take enough of these points, you will be able to get to near zero speed. You won't actually be able to hit it, and you won't be able to go into negatives. Although that was something that could happen before. So now you have a much slower ball lightning. If you take in some area size, you'll be able to essentially plant a mine that hits everything and protects you. So I think that's a pretty cool tree. So yeah, that's one of the support skills. But let me show you the real juice of this update, which is the new active skill. We've developed something called Bloodburst. This one is something I'd been thinking about doing for a while. It took me a while to get to it because I needed first to figure out how to do the particle effects, which we saw with Hemoport, and then I had to create a pretty crappy hand animation. I'm not an artist. This is just something I've done myself. This is not something we've been able to AI art for now, and it is like Swipe. It's going to be an art asset we're going to replace later. But let me show you it. It doesn't look like that's switched properly. I know why. Give me one moment. Seeing some live development. Bloodburst. That will be now fixed. That is what development is like in this. That is Bloodburst. So, as you can see, it has a nice disgusting sound effect, and it's sort of like this AoE skill that you can use at range. It has an extremely long cooldown at 3 seconds, and that's because it's inherently quite powerful. It does a lot of damage. It's an AoE, and it's not around the person. You can use it at range. So, naturally, it is quite inherently a slow cooldown. But as you level it up, you'll be able to reduce that cooldown. There's a bit of that in the tree. These are obviously empty notables. We will get around to it. One other thing I've done with this tree that's a little interesting is there's no crit chance. There's some crit damage nodes that are actually quite powerful, but there's no crit chance. So it kind of encourages you to consider taking, instead of just taking attack size, maybe you want to take crit chance because it'll scale a little stronger with that. It also has some early options for pickup range for people who are looking for it. But it will scale with attack size, so if I take up these attack size nodes, you'll see it gets quite a bit bigger and explodes violently in a mass of blood. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this comes out. Obviously, this is a really badly drawn art asset, but I think it gets the idea across of this exploding blood burst, I guess. Named after apparently a RuneScape skill. So, yep, that's Bloodburst. Really happy with how that's came out. It took a little longer than I had hoped, but I'm happy with it, with where it's ended up. We've expanded the details tree a little bit as well for some of the new modifiers. I don't recall exactly which one was added to this list, but it's about time we add a scroll bar to this or some sort of fashion like that. So that's about it for this update. We've got the new support skill, the new actives. The plan going forward is twofold. First, I want to work on a trigger skill or two. I think it's about time I add some more options for doing weirder things in the game rather than just picking different active skills and seeing how you can deal with it. And the second thing I want to do is have some ranged enemies. I think it's really important for the gameplay diversity to have enemies that kind of make you play a little different, to look at different ways you can use skills, maybe even use things like hemoport to teleport near them, or like with a skill like this, reducing the cooldown, or sorry, with a skill like blood arrow, for example, like just a basic arrow, you can't just take that high damage reduce projectile speed tree, because then how do you hit them? So that's the kind of thing we want with the ranged enemies. There's a bunch of things I'm thinking about when we're going into it, like enemy projectiles should be super clear and be displayed essentially on the top layer of the combat grid. There shouldn't be too many of them. I'm not yet looking for a bullet hell. That might be something we do with some bosses, but it should just be something to prompt movement and not just sitting there AFK. Things like that. So those are the two big things that I'll be working on going forward. We'll see how long it takes to get there, but thanks everyone for tuning in for this update. And yeah, if you've got any thoughts or comments, please let me know. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.